Well, I just can't stop changing stuff. Guess I gotta go back to the range. Hi, Pagan Shooter back. I am here to talk about a few changes I made to the setups. Now, the last time I had spoken about any of these rifles, I had a few different scopes on them, and I'm making some changes to them. And some people are going to tell me I'm a little bit crazy for doing some of these changes, but let me show you. And by the way, I've checked all these rifles. Every single one of them is empty. I know for a fact I'm not going to stop and make a check for them on all of them. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that the 300 Win Mag does not currently have a scope. Now, I did test it with that cheap scope. It did function. The issue I have with it is the reliability. I'm not 100% confident that it will remain accurate with the shock from this rifle. Now, I have seen other YouTubers, I have seen other people take these things out and shoot with that really cheap scope that I had. Not the sniper scope, but the one I had gotten for Black Friday a few years ago. I have seen a few people do that, and I have seen the accuracy of it. The issue I'm having is I just don't trust it long enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put in some money and get a good scope for this. You did see that I had gotten the AT1 stock for it, and I just feel like I need to give it something a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pony up the money, and I'm actually going to get a better scope for it. Probably not, $300 scope, but I'm talking probably another UTG, probably one that's capable of a bit further distance. I am planning on going out and doing some longer range. I do have to wait till it kind of defrosts outside, so I can do some of the longer range. And that because that would be at an outdoor range that's here in St. Paul. So this is one of the first changes. I took that scope off. Now, what did I do with that scope? Well, what I did was I took it and I put it on the Marlin, the Model 60. Now, the reason I did that is because A, this will reach out there a very long distance. I liked the eye relief of this. I liked the ability of this scope to maintain its focal point, even though you zoomed in. This is capable of getting way out there. This is I believe, a 9 by 24. Yeah, this is a 9 by 24 scope. This rifle is capable of very long distance for a 22. I'm not saying it's better than a Ruger. I'm not saying it's better than a Savage. I'm saying that this specific rifle I know is capable of very, very tight groups at very good distance. So what I'm planning on doing is trying to get my hand at getting this rifle, the Marlin Model 60, out much further. And I believe this scope will do it. Now, like I said, the scope I have no problem with. It actually is extreme. It holds its target. It holds its zero. It's actually very good as far as eye relief. It really is good. And as long as you get it in tight on the rifle, which I think I have. I mean, you can see these mounts. Let me get this in here. These mounts are really well tightened down on there. I mean, they are the dovetail, but they are capable of holding on nice and tight. And I want to really get my hand in on getting this out a bit further. I still need to laser sight this in, or bore sight it in, and then from there I'll probably go to the local range, get the 50 yards in, and then from there, once summer comes or once it thaws, I can go out to the outdoor range and I can work on getting it out to 100, 200 yards, see if I can get it out there and accurate. Now, with the 22, I have no doubt that this scope will stay in. The shock from the 22 is minimal, and I don't think it's going to cause any internal damage. Like I said, it's not that I don't like the scope, it's the scope, I don't trust it long term on high shock situation, which would be a 300 Win Mag. Incredibly high shock. So I'm sticking with this. I think I'm going to go with this, and I think it'll be good. Now, if you remember, the Marlin had the old 300 Winchester, or the old 300 Win Mag scope on it. Now, I went ahead and I decided to make that the quick release scope for the Rossi. Now, the Rossi has proven itself to be able to hold zero very well with that sniper piece of junk $10 scope I had bought years ago on Amazon. It was this really cheap little scope, and I used that on these quick release mounts, and I couldn't, because of the length of the scope, I had to set it so it was a bit further, so I was using different grooves. Now this is the Rossi mounting, the Rossi mount here, and you see there's only one, two, three, four mount points, and now there's one under each of the rings. I was able to now use it so I have the furthest ones out on this scope, and I'm able to know exactly where I put it last time, and if I don't use it for a while, I'm able to, and I don't have to kind of go back and try to remember what it was. I just put it right back on, and it fits very well. The eye relief on it, it puts it at the right level for it. So I'm really excited to see what this scope does. Now, this is the original scope that came on the 300 Winchester Magnum. This is a 3 to 9 power scope. And I feel with the shorter barrel and with the single action, I should be able to get this out at least 100 yards, probably 150 yards, maybe. And I think I should be able to do that pretty accurately and pretty consecutively with this scope and with this setup, even taking it apart. So that's my plan at this point. I don't know 100%. Now, that being said, that could change. But this is my idea so far. And I do want to go and do some hunting this next year. So maybe I will take this, make sure it's accurate, bring it out to 150 yards. Maybe once it thaws, take it out to the outdoor range, see how far I can get it out. Once again, not as confident with this setup as I am with the Marlin. But I want to see how far I can get it out there and what I can accomplish with it. The other thing I'm planning on doing with this is, I mean, this is like an emergency situation type rifle, so I would want to use this for hunting eventually if that were the case. So once again, I need to make sure that this setup is going to be working for me. That little sniper rifle, that thing is, it was okay. It just didn't get me far enough out. And with my eyes, guys, I'm getting older. It's not as easy to maintain that visual of your target. So it's one of those things where I'm going to have to kind of compensate for it using equipment, of course. But what do you guys think? Do you think this setup's going to work out for me? What do you think of the Marlin? Do you think that's a good idea, or should I actually go and spend some bigger money on the scope? Have any of you tried the Rossi or the Marlin with the 200 yards? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on that. Any ideas for the 300 Winchester Magnum of what scope I should get? I was thinking one of the higher powered UTGs because I like the UTGs and the flexibility of them. But let me know what you think. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram. It's @PaganShooter. Go ahead and check out my website, paganshooter.com. And, like, share, subscribe. And if leave me a comment if you like it. Otherwise, this is Pagan Shooter. We'll see you next time.